everyone, and welcome back to our YouTube channel, Ocean Smarts and Whale Farts. Today I am going to be talking to you about walruses. You may have seen or may not. If you haven't, go ahead and check it out. Recently we posted a video. Dr. Mackay showed me some really cool walrus skulls. Wow, say that 3 times fast. Really cool walrus skulls that she has in her office, and they were awesome, and it just kind of showed me that I know nothing about walruses. So I decided to go down a rabbit hole of walruses and figure out a whole bunch of stuff about them that I'm going to be telling all of you about today.
Yay!
So to start, walruses. Common name, walrus, and their scientific name is, I'm probably going to butcher this, but it is Adobenus rosmarus, I think. There are 2 subspecies, a Pacific walrus and an Atlantic walrus. And walruses are mammals. They're also carnivorous, so they eat meat. A group of walruses is called a herd, and males are often called bulls. In the wild, a walrus can live an average of 20 to 30 years, but the longest recorded lifespan of a walrus is 40 years. A lot of things in the ocean are super ancient too, so I wondered, how old are walruses evolutionarily? And it shows that the earliest known fossil record we have of walruses dates approximately 14 million years old. That is very old. So when you think of a walrus, you probably have the image in your head of this big, brown, blubbery kind of thing with big old whiskers and tusks, right? So walruses can get to be about 2 to 3.5 meters long and weigh up to 1.5 tons. Those are some heavy boys and girls. The males are usually about 1/3 larger than the females too. Their skin is 2 to 4 centimeters thick, and it's so thick because it needs to keep them warm in the Arctic waters that they live in.
Cold! So cold!
They're also covered with a short reddish hair, and walruses don't have any external ears, kind of like most pinnipeds, which is the family that they're part of, and pinnipeds are your seals and everything, and yeah, they don't have external ears, but they may have sensitive hearing, as Eskimos have imitated their calls before and have heard responses from walruses about a mile away. Now, how I said they have whiskers. Their whiskers are sensitive and they help them to find food along the bottom of the ocean floor. And they usually feed about 10 to 15 meters deep. And some of the things that they eat are clams, mussels, occasionally small fish, and small seals even. Now, their tusks. Their tusks are huge. Males and females both grow tusks, and they grow continuously throughout their life cycle. The males are about 1 meter long, and they can get up to 12 pounds. They use these tusks for things like a mating display, for defense against other walruses, particularly the males. They use their tusks to pull their bodies out of the water, and sometimes they'll even seem to walk on them. And they also use them to break breathing holes into ice from below. So now that you have the idea of what the walrus looks like, where can you find them?
Where are you?
You find them in Arctic and subarctic regions near the North Pole. They're found in the Pacific, Atlantic, and Arctic oceans. If you're not familiar with the Arctic Circle, it includes parts of countries like Alaska, Canada, Finland, Greenland, Iceland, Norway, Russia, and Sweden. So they're around those waters up there, and they tend to stay near coasts and margins of ice shelves. They don't typically like deep waters. And the temperatures that they enjoy range from -15 degrees Celsius to 5 degrees Celsius, so pretty chilly. Now some things about their behavior, which walruses can run on all 4s. If you've ever seen a seal or a sea lion on coastal shelf just kind of like waddling, walruses follow that same pattern, and they can even match human running speed, which is pretty impressive for how big they are. They use full body movements to glide through water, which is much more graceful than their on land travel. And in water, they can travel an average of 7 kilometers per hour, which is 4 miles an hour. And their highest speed, though, if they need to go fast, is 35 kilometers per hour, which is about 22 miles per hour. Walruses are also extremely social. They can live in groups of sometimes above 100, and their groups are often split between male and female, but we'll get more into that later. They are also very communicative in these social groups. They do both auditory and visual displays. So they'll snort, they bellow, they growl, they tap, knock, grunt, bark, whistle, rasp, and click. I'll try to insert some videos right here. And as I mentioned before, the herds of walruses are usually divided by male and female. So there will be a big group of males or a big group of females, unless it is the mating season. The males will fight for dominance over the group of females, and a group of females is often called a harem. And that'll mean, just a bunch of ladies and one fella, typically. So now kind of onto their mating. Their mating season is in the winter. Males will mate with multiple females during a mating season, and they can get quite aggressive. In January through March, the males fight for dominance. The dominance is often established according to the male's body size and the tusk size. So the bigger the boy, the bigger the tusks, and the more likely he will be to gain dominance over a specific harem of females. The winner will actually swim around the group of females and emit vocal calls from a large air sac that's under their throats. And another fun fact about this air sac is that it also helps them to float in water so they can sleep. As a mating display, the males will show their tusks, they'll make clicking noises and bell sounds underwater, they'll clack their teeth and whistle above water, and when a female is interested, they'll go and they'll join them and they mate underwater. The female will have a 15 to 16 month gestation period, and what that means is that's how long she's pregnant for. So, everyone's mommy is usually pregnant for 9 months for humans, and so a walrus will be almost 2 times that long. Typically, the mommies will have their calves during a northern spring migration, which is April through June, and these babies, or their pups, are usually born at about 60 kilograms, which is 130 pounds. That's a big baby, and they can immediately swim, which is really cool. And they'll remain with the mom for about 2 to 3 years, and they reach sexual maturity, which means that they can have babies for females when they turn 6 to 7, or males when they turn 8 to 10. So now a little bit about their migration. Walruses typically swim to migrate, though sometimes they will ride ice floes. Some walruses even migrate over 3,000 kilometers, which is about 1,800–1,900 miles every year. And interestingly enough, adult females and younger walruses will migrate or travel more than adult male walruses will. Different populations of different walruses, depending on where they are in the world, that'll affect their migration patterns. Some of them don't really migrate at all because the waters don't change very much and they just don't have a need to migrate, whereas others will follow a strict migratory pattern. When they're in an area where ice isn't present, they'll haul out onto small rocky islands. And Eskimos actually call a traditional walrus haul-out area an ooglet. Forgive me if I am butchering the pronunciation of that. But yeah, walruses will haul out, and the females will often haul out to rest and give birth as well. So now some fun facts about walruses. Walruses spend about 2/3 of their life in water, and their heart rates will slow while they're underwater to preserve heat. A cool thing about the name of walruses is that their scientific name, Odobenus rosmarus, means tooth-walking seahorse, which it kind of is a tooth-walking seahorse. And a walrus, as I mentioned before, is a pinniped, part of the seal family, and pinniped translates to feather-footed. And if you look at the feet of a walrus, then they kind of do look like little feathers. And for our final fun fact, heavy walruses need to eat about 70 kilograms of mussels a day. which is 154 pounds. That's more than I weigh. That is a lot of food every single day. Now I kind of want to go in a little bit on the threats to their conservation. Though they don't really have many natural predators other than polar bears or killer whales, it's pretty rare that they'll ever be hunted or killed by those predators. The worst predator to walruses is humans. In the 1700s and 1800s, the Atlantic population was hunted to near extinction. They were hunted for all of the valuable things that they provide, like ivory tusks, which are used for tools, art, and fashion. They were hunted for their blubber and used for heat and light from their oil. They were also hunted for their hide, which was used for tarps, boat coverings, and ropes. Hunted for their meat for nutrition. Their flippers were eaten as a delicacy, and even their intestines were harvested for waterproof parkas. And all of this previous hunting actually did lead walruses to not be present anymore in the Gulf of St. Lawrence and around Sable Island off of the coast of Nova Scotia. But we've definitely learned from the mistakes of the past, and walruses are protected commercially. However, Aboriginals are still able to hunt these walruses for subsistence of their population. They've been hunting them for so long that the survival of their communities relies on continuing to hunt them. So there's all the information that I gathered about walruses that I found super interesting, and I hope it was super interesting to all of you too. Hopefully this gets you guys all interested in learning more about our ocean animals and just how cool and awesome they are. And thank you guys for listening, and hopefully you turn in for next week's video. Bye!